These might be the most advanced true wireless earbuds on the market. They're called the NuraTrue Pro. They come in at a whopping £300 in the UK and $330 in the US. In this review, you can see if they're actually worth their price tag and to see how they compare to other flagship true wireless earbuds on the market. So what makes these true wireless earbuds so special? Well, here we have to dig into Bluetooth codec, in other words, the transmission between your source device, such as a smartphone, and the earbuds. Now, the earbuds themselves support SBC, AAC, aptX, aptX HD, and aptX Adaptive, whereby the latter also goes to 24-bit 96, all of which is very impressive. However, they go one step further by offering aptX Lossless, and this is also known as Snapdragon Sound. It's only supported on a certain finite number of devices which effectively have the modern generation Snapdragon 8 chipset in them, but if you do have that setup, it means that you'll be able to benefit from CD quality transmission over Bluetooth, whereby you're getting a transmission data of 1.2 megabits per second, which is absolutely insane, and you're getting 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz. Now that in the Bluetooth terms is very impressive, and specifically for a set of true wireless earbuds is absolutely unmatched. Now, while all of that is very impressive, this does actually lead me on to my first negative point of these earbuds. See, they don't support the LDAC codec, which is quite common on Android devices. In other words, if you have an Android 8 Oreo device or above, it will support LDAC, and therefore means that you can get actually pretty high quality transmission over Bluetooth. It won't quite compete with aptX Lossless, but it's somewhat on par with the likes of aptX Adaptive. Now, in this respect, I've actually got a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, and therefore in my case, I'm actually limited to the vanilla aptX codec, and therefore I cannot benefit from higher quality transmission such as, let's say, LDAC, aptX Adaptive, or aptX Lossless. So moving on, I should mention that both the left and right earbuds can be used independently from each other, and therefore can be used in a mono format, and it's certainly appreciated. The switch between mono and stereo is absolutely seamless and I had no problems whatsoever. Better still, I had no sort of lip sync delays or video lag or any sort of transmission problems from my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus to the earbuds themselves. This does actually bring me on to Bluetooth multipoint, which the earbuds do support, and it's certainly appreciated for those people who want to switch between, let's say, a laptop and a smartphone, or for example, two smartphones, for example, if you've got a work and a personal smartphone, and therefore these earbuds do support that. Better still, you've even got an option of music takeover, which you can enable or disable, which is not a feature that you'll often see featured on other rival offerings. Effectively means that you can pause your music before transitioning onto the secondary device, or of course disabling that behavior. Now here you have got a few different options whereby you can enable or disable ANC and social modes, spatial audio, and the auto pose behavior, which you can enable or disable, and we'll touch upon these further down. You've also got the EU limiter, which could be useful for kids, and the complete opposite is the high gain mode. In my case, I actually left both options disabled. Then you've got the voice prompts, which you can have low, medium, or high, and then you can choose the different language. Now, better still, you've also got a plethora of customization when it comes to the touch functions. Now, yes, both earbuds do support touch functionalities, and in my case, I actually found to be pretty responsive. Although sometimes it did feel a little bit glitchy, and in this respect, some of its rival manufacturers actually offered a little bit of a better intuitive experience when it comes to interacting with their earbuds. Now, with that said, in comparison to some of its competitors, I really love the fact that you can customize every single tap functionality. In my case, I've actually disabled a single tap function in order to prevent any sort of mistouch operation. And you can customize every single option independently from each other, whereby the manufacturer is not predefining what you should or shouldn't use, which is certainly appreciated. Now, on that note, this perfectly brings me onto personalization, which is exactly what Nura is known for. This gives you your own hearing profile based on a short little audio test that the earbuds conduct when they're in your ears. You can create separate audio profiles, which is very handy, and therefore allowing you to share your earbuds with your partner, or indeed to see how their hearing is actually perceived as well. A pretty cool feature, but definitely appreciated because it will give you a far better audio reproduction over the neutral preset. Now here you can see the immersion mode, the slider over here, and here I've got it at -2. This is very much subjective, and I'll touch upon this further down in the review. Then on the right hand side, you've got this little button over here, which effectively is spatial audio. In my case, I actually preferred leaving it disabled because it feels that it hindered the overall mid-range response, but therefore does give you a little bit more of that surround sound effect. So you can enable or disable it if you so wish. Equally, you can enable or disable the social mode over here, which you can also do via the customizable touch buttons if you so wish. Social mode effectively allows you a hear-through mode, which is quite handy, for example, if you're crossing the street or, let's say, conversing with someone on the street. Now, before proceeding on to my subjective opinion, I should touch upon Pro EQ. This is a novelty for Nura, and I absolutely love the fact that I've actually implemented it for the first time on the NuraTrue Pros. This effectively gives you a 5-band EQ, which goes on top of the personalization that the hearing profile gives you. This is quite handy because it allows you to customize the sound even further. You can see over here that I've actually customized it to my heart's content, providing a superior audio reproduction. Without this, it means that I would have felt the mid-range was even more pushed back, but thankfully that's not the case thanks to the customizable EQs, which are actually pretty scalable as well. Now, with the app and EQ out of the way, let me get onto my subjective opinion. And here I should just reiterate that these earbuds were run on my setup via the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus running the aptX vanilla codec, and therefore I'm not being able to benefit from aptX lossless or indeed Snapdragon Sound. Elsewhere, these earbuds have got 10mm dynamic drivers and also have got a frequency range of 20Hz all the way up to 40kHz, which is far beyond what the human ear can actually pick up. Now, on the whole, I must say my actual sound quality assessments were pretty positive. I was left pretty impressed with what Nura had been able to achieve with these earbuds. So let me break it down. First off, in terms of the sub-bass tone, they actually extend pretty well. There's a good amount of rumble that can be heard, and here it does compare with some other bassier true wireless earbuds on the market, such as, let's say, the Grado GT220s, or even the likes of, let's say, the Technics EAH-AZ60s. They do extend pretty low, give you that good amount of rumble, and if you add 1 notch or 2 notches on the immersion slider via the app, which you might have picked up before, then you will be able to get a good degree of bass in your face. Now, of course, you can dial the immersion slider even more, but by doing so, in my opinion, it drowns out the lower mids, which is not something that you want because it puts an overemphasis on the mid bass and also the sub bass tones. Now here, the mid bass with the +1 added on the immersion slider, I felt it was perfect, at least to my ears and the music that I was listening to, which is R&B, D&B and also EDM music. In this respect, it felt that it was tight, controlled and wasn't overdone in the slightest. It was just perfection to my ears. And here I think Nura should really be commended with what they've been able to achieve in the lower frequencies. Now as for the mids, they're a little bit pushed back. They're not exactly as forward sounding as some other earbuds in the market, such as, let's say, ones offered from Sennheiser or even, let's say, the Technics, but nonetheless are still vastly impressive. In comparison to other earbuds on the market, such as, let's say, Libratone Track Air Plus or earbuds from One More or Sony, these earbuds are far superior. The lower mids and the upper mids combine to give you a pretty accurate reproduction, and one that can also be EQ'd. As you might have noticed before, I added a few notches to the mid-range EQ, despite it having a still personalized sound. Now as for the highs, I do find that they tail off a little bit. Even though I did EQ it quite substantially on terms of the treble EQ, I just felt they're a little bit rolled off on the top end. They didn't really compete with the likes of the Technics EAH-AZ60s or the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 3s. And furthermore, some other earbuds out there in the market, such as ones from Jabra, which really do excel in the high-end tones. I feel that arguably here, the weakest element of these NuraTrue Pro earbuds was actually the high-end frequency extension. Now, on the other hand, the NuraTrue Pro earbuds actually deliver a phenomenal soundstage, and one that, in my opinion, is pretty much unmatched. And that's coming from someone who's reviewed over 500 audio-related devices and over 80 true wireless earbuds. Now, indeed, over here, there are some of the other earbuds on the market, such as from the likes of Grado, Creative, Sennheiser, Jabra, or Technics that do a very good job in this department, but none that can really offer that sort of unparalleled, airy sort of sound. The instrument separation, the overall positional cues, specifically listening to live recordings such as from the Eagles and Hotel California, came out absolutely phenomenally well on the NuraTrue Pro earbuds, and that really left me jaw-dropped and kept me engaged with the music that I was actually consuming. So what about when it comes to recording quality? Well, everything you can hear right now is coming directly from the NuraTrue Pro earbuds, and what I will say subjectively is that it's a massive improvement and a step up over the NuraTrue earbuds. Now, this is because they've got 8 microphones in total, 4 on each side, and that also includes bone conduction technology, which is pretty cool. However, there is still a little bit of a reverb on my voice, and in comparison to some of its competitors, which I'll touch upon very shortly, it isn't exactly that good. Now, specifically here, when you are treated in a real-world environment, in other words, when you've got some background noise, you'll be able to hear a lot of the background noise aside from my actual voice. So right now I've got my bookshelf speakers placed in front of me. They'll be placed at the same volume, and I'll be playing back a track. It's from Priya J. It's titled Like Me. And I'm just going to continue to speak while the music is playing in the background. Now when I go quiet, hopefully there you're able to hear that you are able to pick up Priya J's vocals as much as my own voice, and therefore means that if you're going to be in a, let's say, cafeteria or walking down the street, your recipient is able to hear your exterior environment and your voice as well. Now, just for comparison, here are the Technics EAH-AZ60s, which I actually quite like when it comes to the overall recording functionalities, and with the just my voice function enabled, you'll be able to pick up that my voice is actually coming out pretty clearly. Now, specifically here, when I compare it to the NuraTrue Pro, when it comes to background noise, yet again, playing back Priya J's vocals via my bookshelf speakers, which haven't changed in volume, you'll be able to hear my voice a lot more than her voice, even when I go quiet. So in that respect here, the earbuds, the Technics EAH-AZ60s, do a better job in comparison to the NuraTrue Pros when it comes to dealing with background noise, and ultimately when it comes to taking calls, there's some other true wireless earbuds out there on the market that do better than what the NuraTrue Pro earbuds are actually able to offer. So moving swiftly on, we get onto active noise cancellation, ANC for short. And here the overall technology that Nura actually have implemented is actually pretty impressive, specifically in comparison to other flagship true wireless earbuds from the likes of Sennheiser, Technics, or for example Grado, whereby the latter don't actually incorporate any sort of ANC technology in the first place. Here the NuraTrue Pros actually do a far better job. However, when compared to flagship ANC true wireless earbuds from the likes of Sony, Libratone, or one more, they can't quite compete in terms of the algorithm and the processing that they're able to achieve. Now, nonetheless, over here, it is worth considering that the NuraTrue Pros, very much like their predecessors, the NuraTrues, have got a pretty large form factor, and therefore they have got pretty good passive noise isolation. The combination of passive and the active noise cancellation technology means that you're actually able to achieve very low noise in your ears, and as a result means that you can enjoy your music in a more serene environment. Now, as I did mention in the app section, you do also have a social mode, in other words having a transparency mode allowing you to hear your surroundings, and of course if you do not want active noise cancellation for any given reason, you can also disable the toggle. Now, on the subject of their size, this does actually perfectly lead me onto comfort. Now here it's very important because these earbuds are pretty large, as I am reiterating yet again. Now indeed, in this respect, I have got relatively large sized male ears, and therefore I had no sort of problems actually wearing these earbuds, specifically when I included the secure fit wings, which prevented them from falling out when I was going on a light jog or a little bit more of a strenuous walk. If, however, you have smaller ears or indeed smaller ear canals, you might actually struggle to wear these earbuds. Now, thankfully here, Nura have provided 4 pairs of silicone ear tips within the box and also a singular pair of foam tips. So hopefully it'll work out for you, but nonetheless, I'll be intrigued to hear your thoughts and indeed your experiences down in the comment section below. Now elsewhere, these earbuds have got an IPX4 water resistance rating and therefore are not waterproof, so definitely don't go submerging them. They'll suffice for going on sort of light rain or indeed intense workouts where you're sweating profusely. Now when it comes to their battery life, they're actually pretty impressive. The earbuds themselves house an 83 milliamp battery, while the case itself houses a 500 milliamp battery. The combination means that you can run them for 8 hours without having to plug them back into their case, and with the case and in combination with the 8 hours that I quoted, you'll get a total of 32 hours of playback without having to worry about plugging them in to a wall socket or indeed a power bank. On that note, these earbuds have got a USB Type-C input, which is definitely great, and here it will take you roughly 1 hour to fully charge the case, which is certainly impressive. In fact, a 5-minute blast of charge will give you roughly 1 hour of playback. Better still, the case also has got wireless charging capabilities, so if you do want to place it to charge without actually having to plug it in, you can do that as well. Now, what isn't as impressive, however, with the charging case is the interaction with the earbuds, and by that I mean taking the earbuds out of the charging case does require a little bit of a technique. That's due to the size of the earbuds themselves and the somewhat compact form factor of the charging case. Nonetheless, it's very easy to place them within it because there's a little magnetic clasp, which means that it prevents the earbuds from actually falling out. So with all of that in mind, it brings me on to my verdict of the NuraTrue Pros. And on the whole, I've actually been left pretty impressed. Be it if you can benefit from aptX lossless or not, you're still getting phenomenal audio reproduction. You're getting good active noise cancellation and good passive noise isolation, leading to a serene listening experience. You've got personalization and customization via the app, a pretty stylish design, and a charging case which will also give you pretty good battery life. The biggest problems, however, are the recording quality, which are still not up to par in comparison to other true wireless earbuds on the market, although are a massive improvement over the previous generation model, the NuraTrue. And then you've also got the form factor, which is definitely not going to fit in everyone's ear, so it's definitely something worth considering. Elsewhere, you have of course got the overall asking price. £330 in the UK or $330 in the US is a very high price to ask for a set of true wireless earbuds. No matter the overall technology that you get, this is going to alienate a lot of the consumer market. Now, some of the competitors I've mentioned so far are also similarly expensive at the £100 to £200 price mark, but that means that they're a lot more affordable than what Nura is able to offer. Nonetheless, if you are still looking for a set of true wireless earbuds that have got a somewhat complete package and you've got the money to spend, then I can see myself recommending them. As a result, they actually get my performance awards. They go shy from the Best Buy award due to the overall asking price. Now, I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts of these earbuds down in the comment section below. And of course, if you've liked this independent detailed review, definitely do drop a like, subscribe and hit that bell notification, all of which are greatly appreciated and allows me to continue delivering honest reviews like this one. As such, I've been totally dubbed and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.